Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Well, hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm the Ryse.
And you know, Ryse, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct.
Yes.
And you know where we can find that?
Yes.
On the Wrestling Mayhem.
That's right.
Yeah. They all got something to say. Better get out of my way. We do it all in a day. Tell them that we're not the same. Go for the takedown. Levels to this not the same now. Taking them out, better stay down. Been giving them balls like a playground. Oh yeah, and you're gonna know my name. I've been an animal. I see the fear in your eyes. Move like a cannibal. Yeah, I'm ready to rise. Hot like I'm flammable. I got the fire inside. Run like an animal. I'm ready to rise. Yeah. They all got something to say. Better get
Welcome to Ryse Pro Wrestling, June 10th of 2023. My name's Jim Amato, Ryse Pro Wrestling, coming to you from the Uniontown Mall. And we will get kicked off with the Ryse Tag Team Open Challenge. Elijah Dean and Zach Nystrom, two very confident athletes that burst through the door at the beginning of this year. And at the halfway point, they have been untouchable. Quite simply, the Mandime and Nystrom have changed the game in Ryse Tag Team Wrestling.
But because we want a challenge. We don't want to hear it. But we're gonna listen. And since we've done a lot of things. I mean, first of all, we made Ryse Wrestling the absolute best place to wrestle in Pittsburgh.
It was already great.
We've done a lot of other great things like win tag team gold. But one thing that has been lacking has been challenge. And I mean, we wrestled some good competitors, good singles, good tags, but there was not quite up to par with what we want. So tonight, we're laying an open challenge to anybody. It doesn't matter where you're from, we want the best. So if you come in this ring, you bring your best.
That's an open challenge. We're going to see if someone has the answer. You gotta be kidding me! The Good Budz, Johnny Patch, Preston, Everest, two of the top tier young athletes anywhere in Pittsburgh, have answered the open challenge. And I gotta say, I wasn't expecting this, and I can't believe that Money Shot were expecting it either. Preston and Patch have made a huge impact around the Pittsburgh area, and they are bringing this dynamic daredevil combination to Ryse Wrestling, and it's for the championships. And this is why you have to be here live at the Uniontown Mall. You have no idea what is going to happen. Gianni Patch making his Ryse debut. That's not something I thought I'd be saying on this evening. A hot night in Western Pennsylvania brings Patch and Preston into Ryse Wrestling. Collar and elbow tie-up is going to get us started. Of course, we know Zach Nystrom and Elijah Dean, they are so precise. They won't make any mistakes, but you have to wonder if this challenge, this open challenge, will throw them off their game just a little bit, because as top tier as Money Shot are, there's no way they could have been prepared for Patch and Preston to be here tonight. And if you're Gianni Patch and Preston Everett, you have a chance to put your name on the map in Ryse Wrestling in one night if they can secure the tag team championships. This is trademark Money Shot offense, though. You know, Elijah Dean and Zach Nystrom look to dictate the pace of the contest. Nystrom using his height advantage to back Patch up into the ropes. No surprise that Nystrom's going to take a cheap shot. We've come to expect that from Money Shot over the past 6 months, since they quite literally worked their way through the door. But look how quick, look how dynamic Gianni Patch is. Turning the complexion of this matchup on a dime right there. Referee Nick Brown assigned this contest. Out of the way goes Patch, slaps on the side headlock. And the unorthodox nature of the good Budz could be in their favor here. Patch takes down Nystrom. And on a rare exchange, someone out-wrestles Zach Nystrom. Money Shot gonna look to reset. In comes the man dime, as does Preston for the good Budz. What really could be a marquee main event matchup is our opener here. That shows you just how big Ryse Wrestling is growing each and every month. Collar and elbow tie-up gets us started here in this chapter. And again, Elijah Dean, such a technician and so well-versed inside those ring ropes. He is a real ring general. I don't like his attitude, but you can't help but appreciate that skill set. Mandime has all the physical skills and all the intangibles to go along with it, and that is why he and Nystrom are the reigning Ryse Tag Team Champions. Up and over goes Preston. Deep arm drag on the Mandime. And there's that all adrenaline approach from the good Budz. And right now, the Mandime finding himself in the unfamiliar position of looking up at the lights. Quick tag is a sign of good tag team wrestling from the good Budz. Tandem offense, and that is really how these two have made their name as a tag team for about the past 2 years. Pair of leg drops. Hooks that leg. 2.5. Mandime, a true pro, getting his shoulders off the canvas as soon as possible. And conversely, Gianni Patch, showing his professionalism, made sure to hook the leg. Backs Dean up, shoots him off. Big shoulder tackle from Mandime, showing that chiseled physique and that power. Very proud of himself. Mandime will never be short on confidence. Up and over he goes. Patch avoids the contact. Mandime ducks his head. There's the unorthodox approach of Gianni Patch. 2 feet firmly in the chest. But there you're seeing the ring generalship of Money Shot. Zach Nystrom made the blind tag, and Gianni Patch avoiding the contact yet again. Those instincts inside the squared circle for Gianni Patch, as he can generate offense from any angle. The Good Budz are rolling in Uniontown. Patch got just a little overzealous and Nystrom made him pay, got the foot up and cuts off the momentum. You have to think that Money Shot will look to try to halt this contest, grind the pace down, but they're unable to do so right now because Johnny Patch is a house of fire. But not right now. He got tattooed in the side of the face with 2 boots from Nystrom. Back press here. And again, I'm going to tell you how Zach Nystrom hooked that leg. Money Shot will not make any rookie mistakes, any lax mistakes. Money Shot is top tier in everything they do. And now we're seeing some tag team cohesion from Money Shot. Elevated elbow drop, nicely done. Nice tag team maneuvers here, tandem offense. And again, as I said in our opening moments here, Dean and Nystrom did not have the chance to prepare for this open challenge. They didn't know who was going to answer it. But you'll see that the longer this match goes on, Nystrom and Mandime are keeping a cool head. They are not letting themselves get psyched out. They're not making any mistakes with this surprise challenge of the Good Budz here. Preston losing his mind on the ring apron, doesn't realize he's not doing Patch any favors here. Patch got to the ropes, but the damage is done. Man, Patch got hung up, slingshot, nasty impact that time. Patch in the wrong part of town here. And this is Tag Wrestling 101, what we've come to expect from the Ryse Tag Team Champions, keeping Johnny Patch in their side of the ring, cutting the ring in half. And this is what I was talking about. Money Shot able to dictate the pace of this contest. And when you box Patch in the corner, he can't get that trademark speed and momentum that he's made his career in. Preston got blindsided, and again, I understand why he's upset, but he's not doing Patch any favors here. Johnny Patch getting mugged in the opposing corner. And look at the way that Patch is being almost sent to the floor with that boot to the face. Not only are Money Shot very, very talented, but they have a bona fide mean streak. They will win those championships and retain those championships by any means necessary. And you want to slow down the high flyer Johnny Patch, focusing on that knee is the way to do that. And that's no coincidence. Referee Nick Brown finally going to assert some authority. Nystrom pleading innocence, but you get a better case of finding OJ innocent again than believing that Nystrom wouldn't take a shortcut. Very deliberate tags here. And Johnny Patch is going to have to try to fight his way out because he's in a bad part of town. And the numbers game just too much. Johnny Patch is a tremendous athlete, but he's got 2 athletes opposing him right now. Like that right there. Patch hits the canvas. It could be on borrowed time. Preston has had enough. And you can see the confidence continuing to grow in Money Shot. They're always very braggadocious, but you can see the smug look on the face of Nystrom. They know it. They have this matchup in firm control. Patch diving over, trying to stretch out as much as he can to make that tag. Referee Nick Brown right in position. Super kick right to the side of the jaw. And this could be Patch's chance. Could Patch get to Preston right here? The future of the Ryse tag team titles could hang in the balance. And clearly, Preston Everett knows that this is his chance. Everest is rolling here, man. He knows he puts himself on the Ryse conversation if they can win those championships in one night. Preston hooks him up, countered by Dean, avoids the contact. The momentum teetering back and forth. The man dime gets spiked. And Elijah Dean just barely escaping that time. I have to say it, in the dominant 6 months that Money Shot have been the tag team champions, this may be the most jeopardy those titles have been in from the challenge of the Good Budz. Look out. Hit him with the stunner. John Woo kick from Johnny Patch. Beautiful uppercut German. And you don't get any closer than that. Preston is surprised, and quite frankly, so am I. All the action breaking down here. Can the Good Budz reset? Can they press forward to win these Ryse tag team titles? We're going to find out right here. Patch perched up top. And wait a minute, Nystrom just blinded Johnny Patch. Jackknife pin. What was the... Nystrom just spewed something in the eyes of Johnny Patch. He's on the floor. He's hurt. Preston's been left alone with Money Shot. Spike pile driver right on the top of his head. Game over. That was a hell of a tag team title defense, but Money Shot victorious.
If you don't find us the absolute best, maybe we just don't all show up.
Wait. Money Shot. You guys want the best? Well, you're looking at the best. Maserati West Barkley, the intense icon Joshua Bishop, the Rip City Shooters. July. You guys, us. Yeah, I like the sound of that, but I like this even a little better. Rip City leaving as the new tag team champions. So you know how it goes. When you get in the ring with the Rip City Shooters, you got two options. Money Shot, it's your choice. Get out of the way or get ran over. Keep those belts warm, boys. We'll be seeing you soon.
And there you have it, the Rip City Shooters, one of the premier tag teams out of the state of Ohio, Maserati West, and the intense icon Joshua Bishop return to Ryse July 8th, and they return to Ryse for a shot at the Tag Team Championships. A collection of talent that are brash, arrogant, and very, very dangerous. hate them or hate them, the Great Success are a collection of young athletes that look to use Ryse Pro Wrestling as their platform to showcase themselves in this sport. And like it or not, they have the talent to do just that. Let's not forget, a few months ago, Brandon K was scheduled for a matchup against that fungus at ringside, the Gavel David Wallace. Brandon got blindsided by that Great Success and has been out of action ever since. The Great Alexander, Gerard Garrett, and the newest acquisition, Gorgeous Gregory, have turned Ryse Wrestling on its ear. Let's go to our wonderful correspondent, Megan Nelson. Megan, take it away.
Excuse me, sir. Can you just stand right over there and just look ready? Thank you.
Shut your mouth!
These guys are nauseating. I can't stand this guy.
Wrestling, I hereby, as my gift to you, give you my spot in the fatal four-way qualifier for the Ryse Digital Championship. I couldn't think of a better person to take my spot here. You did.
Sounds like Wallace is a little afraid to fight tonight.
He did us all.
This is greatness, losers! I don't know if you top that, but I got something even greater!
Even greater! Get ready, kids!
God bless Tyler Klein. Mr. Design is here for some payback. You might say that Tyler Klein came to chew bubblegum and kick some ass, but he's all out of bubblegum. And the damn numbers game is catching up to Tyler Klein. Let's not forget, it was the great success that took out Calvin Couture with that steel chair last month. And they're going to try to do the same thing to Tyler Klein. 3-on-1. And thankfully the cavalry is here. But so is Sam Holloway. This monster looks to be on the payroll of the great success. And you heard it from Chris LaRusso, Ryse Management. If everything's gonna boil over, we're gonna get into that four-way qualifying match for the digital title right now. Sam Holloway, Cowpoke, Paul, Tad Jarvis, and now because Wallace gifted his spot to the Great Alexander, we've got chaos everywhere. Tandem offense on the former Division I football player, Sam Holloway. And now tandem offense on the current Division I weasel, the Great Alexander. You want to talk about a wild night. First we have the Good Budz make their Ryse debut, and now we have the Great Alexander inserted into this four-way qualifying match for the digital title. Let's not forget, Christian Noir won the first qualifying match last month. The winner of this qualifying match will face off against Noir next month, July 8th at the Ryse Rumble to determine the very first Ryse digital champion. The Cowpoke shoots Tad Jarvis off with the assist. And the Cowpoke takes out everybody. Alexander gets hoisted back in the ring. There were so many bodies at ringside. It took me a moment to figure out where the action was going next because action's been everywhere. And Cowpoke just got dropped on the ring apron. Tad Jarvis gets hit with the cheap shot. And now the Great Success with their hired hitman, Sam Holloway, gonna take over here. And you heard the impact right there. Hardway Holloway is a big, aggressive, nasty athlete. Just 22 years old. The God-given gifts that Sam Holloway brings to the table are just scary. The upside for Sam Holloway is going to be huge. There's no doubt about that. Why he associates with the jerks of the Great Success, I'll never understand. But the potential of Holloway is undeniable. Alexander sneaking in yet another cheap shot on Tad Jarvis. And this is that continuation of the Great Success against Team Stronghold. We've seen this rivalry boil over month after month, and eventually something's going to come to a head here. Oh, God, Jarvis just gets heaved. Tad Jarvis being completely manhandled by Holloway. That is scary power. Holloway is so dynamic, has that collegiate football background, just so explosive, can generate such momentum in such a short distance from his days as a lineman on the football field. Oh, look out. Man, Jarvis got planted. And like a vulture, the great Alexander trying to pick the bones. But let's not forget, this is a four-way matchup. It is every man for himself. And this short-term partnership could be disintegrating before our eyes. Here comes the Cowpoke. The man that Uniontown has adopted. Such a talented young athlete. Oh man, he got tattooed right in the face with that gigantic foot of Hardway Holloway. Action spilling out everywhere. Oh my God. The great Alexander launched the entire length of the ring. And look at the domination of Sam Holloway. Pump handle bomb. You heard the impact. Could be all. Tad Jarvis with the takedown, just barely enough momentum to get the big man over. But he doesn't see Alexander. He does now. Alexander lowers the boot, hooks that leg, and here's that four-way aspect coming into play yet again. You have to have eyes in the back of your head as the Cowpoke trying to put his stamp on this matchup to advance to July 8th for the digital title. Alexander ducks his head, the Cowpoke up and over. He got him! With the assist from Tyler Klein. revenge for Mr. Design as he spooked the great Alexander, and the Cowpoke got the 3 count. So it is official. July 8th at the Ryse Rumble, it will be Christian Noir against the Cowpoke. Cowpoke Paul to crown the very first ever Ryse Digital Champion. We've seen some very technically savvy athletes so far tonight, June 10th, 2023. But this young man may be the most technically savvy athlete on the Ryse roster. An extremely accomplished amateur wrestler out of the Buckeye State of Ohio. Shaw Mason has a master's degree in mat mechanics. He is an aerial artist. He came within an eyelash of winning the Ryse Grand Championship, and he remains a perennial contender for any championship inside of Ryse Pro Wrestling. Chase Oliver, one of the most dynamic young athletes you will find anywhere in independent wrestling today. He is a true aerial artist. And I'm being joined by Ryse Management, Chris LaRusso. Chris, I know you've had a chaotic evening. You've had to make some rulings here. I know that this matchup was one that you were very interested in here. Shaw Mason, Chase Oliver. As I was saying before you got to our desk here, Shaw Mason, such a collegiate standout. He is a master of the mat.
Absolutely. This is a match that I was so excited when I knew we got finalized, and I was so looking forward to it. 2 standouts, 2 men from Ohio who've been really tearing up the scene out there, but have really been impressive in Ryse Wrestling as well. I'm very, very, very much looking forward to this match.
Absolutely. Shaw Mason with the waist lock. Oliver going to look for a way to extricate himself. Standing switch.
I think that this style is going to favor Mason, obviously. Look at that, right into the fireman's carry. Beautifully
Absolutely. That
executed.
young man has a master's degree in mat mechanics. No doubt about it.
And, you know, this works doubly well for Mason because his offense, by nature, will negate Oliver's offense as well because he's such a high flyer, such a skilled... Look at that, right back into the side headlock.
It's really those transitions that make Shaw Mason so dangerous because, quite frankly, he can really prevent an opponent from getting out of the blocks.
Oliver's in excellent shape, excellent physique. Always has been
that core strength, I believe, is really a key to his success. And what agility!
Look at that agility!
Slaps on the side wrist lock. Chris, before you took this management position, you were a 20-year pro and still are, obviously, of an in-ring competitor. What do you see from an in-ring perspective, the upside of both Chase Oliver and Shaw Mason?
Well, both men are young and they're very early in their career, so the sky is the limit. And I don't even think we've come close to seeing the referee's going to force a break here, but I don't think we've even come close to either of these men's peak.
I think that's what's so impressive because they're so young and already so good. Mason shoots Oliver in here. Oliver, that's what we're talking about, man. He is so quick and can turn on a dime. The complexion of this matchup changing here. Of course, Mason as you said, gonna try to neutralize.
And this is going to advantage Oliver when he can get some motion, when he can get some momentum.
Absolutely, deep arm drag.
Snaps off another one.
And another.
Leg sweep.
Shoulders down.
Mason going for the ankle lock.
Gonna try to latch onto that ankle.
Oh, nice up kick. Nip up by Oliver.
And there's a little psychological warfare. Oliver letting Shaw Mason know you may be the mat tactician, but I can escape.
You know what's interesting, though? Shaw was in the ropes, and Oliver did not advance, did not press the attack. I think he respects the grappling skills, and quite frankly, maybe didn't want to tangle up with him in that situation. Knew he did not have, like in this situation, he has the advantage with that speed, with that agility.
Up and over here.
Nice drop kick.
2 feet firmly in the chest. And Mason gonna force a timeout here. That's wise wrestling as well. As you said, Mason knows the game plan of Chase Oliver is to really ramp up the momentum. Right now, Shawn Mason grinding everything to a halt.
And again, you see that Oliver's not pressing the attack, and I'm not sure. Well, maybe I spoke too soon.
He's not safe out there.
Oh, my goodness.
You heard the contact that time.
Rams him into the ring apron.
Oh, look out.
Oh, you do not normally see that in amateur wrestling.
Well, that's one thing about Shawn Mason. The guy has a mean streak.
Breaks the count. You can't quite see from our vantage point what's going on there.
Our IndyWrestling.us cameras are going to catch all the action for you.
Oliver may have wiped out a section of our fans. Oh, you buy a ticket to a Ryse show, the action's up close, sometimes a little too close.
Mason going to try to press forward here. Oliver favoring that back. Could be a chink in the armor. And Mason going to it right away here.
Oh.
Right to the lumbar region. As an in-ring athlete, Chris, you can attest to the fact the lumbar region, the most susceptible spot to damage in the back.
Especially, with an expert like Mason who, while you don't have the submission factor in collegiate wrestling, he is definitely well-versed in that. He is well-versed in submission wrestling as well, which does translate very well to the pros.
European uppercut, having Chase boxed into the corner once again, not allowing Chase Oliver to get that sprint, that momentum, although he may be here.
Oh, favoring the back when he went for the Irish whip. Oh, big knee strike right to the butt of the jaw.
And Mason may be seeing stars, and I don't mean the stars on his gear there. How about the action so far tonight, Chris?
Unbelievable.
All over
look,
the place.
Look at the escape there.
Mason out the back door.
A little late, lackadaisical going into it. Oh, goes for the moonsault.
Look out.
Oh, exploder suplex into the corner.
Oliver ricocheting off the buckles upon impact.
That's got to be it. Whoa.
2.5, man. You want to talk about the toughness of Chase Oliver. His body racked against the buckles, and he still had the wherewithal to kick out, get that shoulder up.
Not only that, but he may have landed on his head on the landing. With this Uniontown crowd getting behind Chase Oliver. Oh, and you see Mason targeting the lower back, targeting the kidneys. Another exploder, perhaps?
Look out.
Yes! That's a second overhead exploder suplex.
And as dynamic as Chase Oliver has been over the first half of the year here in Ryse Wrestling since coming back from that shoulder injury, I don't think many people would have expected that Chase would be on his back foot, on his heels here.
That explosiveness. Shawn Mason wouldn't call him a super heavyweight by any stretch. Oh, nice. Into the bridge. Floats over into the cover.
Yeah, that neck strength is such a key component.
And he also has that, you saw on both of those exploder suplexes, he pops the hips. He has very strong hips. Most amateurs do, which allows him to exert extreme amounts of force for those big suplexes and throws.
Absolutely. That's how a relatively lean athlete can generate the most power with their body weight, is being able to use the trunk of their body with their hips. Absolutely.
Trying to stay into a ride, trying to keep him from getting up. Elbows from Oliver.
Compressing the rib cage there. Regal plex, drop Chase Oliver right on the back of his head. And again, Oliver kicks out. What a slick transition that was. That shows you that Shawn Mason is a step ahead here. He saw that Oliver could have escaped that waistlock, transitioned to the Regal plex, and maintaining control of this matchup. Continue, please.
As I was saying, he's showing a great aptitude for offense. Now this, I'm not sure this is not his strong suit. He was doing well with the suplexes. He was doing well with the throws. I would not go to
unfamiliar territory here.
What is he going for here? Oh my goodness! That was impressive athleticism, but it did not pay off.
And that's why it's high risk, Mr. LaRusso. That was a big gamble. Shawn Mason doubled down, and he busted on that one.
Both men slow to their feet.
And I believe we're seeing a textbook example of the competition in Ryse Wrestling.
You know, both these men were in that match to crown the first ever digital, the four-way to qualify to crown the first ever digital champion. I think that these two men are probably going to be, oh my goodness!
I don't think Shawn Mason has any idea where he's at, Uniontown or anywhere else. Right in the back of the head with that kick.
He may think he's back at Ohio State. Mason recovers fairly quickly, though.
Yeah, he's trying to shake it off. That's a lot of tenacity from Shawn Mason.
Did he turn it into a power bomb, or did he snap it off?
That was nasty impact. I'm not sure who got the worst of that.
Oh, I know who got the worst of that.
Shooting star hooks that leg. These are two young athletes giving us everything they have, Chris.
As I said earlier, I could see they will not be in the match to crown the first ever digital champion, but I could definitely see these two men competing for that title.
Absolutely, evenly matched.
Once it activates on July 8th at the Ryse Rumble, make sure to get your tickets now.
Oliver still favoring that back.
Yes, he is.
But
this might be a bad move.
It's gut check time here. Mason could be going for that
chaos theory.
Absolutely.
Hits it perfectly.
That's got to be all. I'm shocked. I thought that was all. The momentum, the torque, and the impact on that suplex.
And you saw how high Oliver landed on his shoulders, landed right into a pinning predicament with all of his weight over his shoulders. That was an impressive feat for him to kick out of that. Oh, going for the ankle lock now, though.
And that's how you ground the aerial artist. You take out that leg.
You know, for a move that was, famous or made more famous by one of Pittsburgh's favorite sons, normally you don't get this kind of boost for an ankle lock around Pittsburgh. Oh!
Oliver extricated himself.
Ooh, elbow right to the... Ooh, look, Oliver might be hurt.
Look out here.
Yuji Goroshi!
Back press. Does he have enough weight on the shoulder?
No, he does not. He was so exhausted. He did not hook the leg. Barely had the head and the shoulders over for the pin.
And that shows you that professional wrestling can be a game of inches, because had Oliver had just a little more left to hook that leg, we may have a victory in this matchup, but we're going to press on. This is one that you were anticipating, I was anticipating, and it's living up to the hype.
Going for the shooter?
Could be a home run swing here.
The shooting star press. He's won a lot of matches with this. Oh, no.
Look out.
Exploder off the top rope. Oliver's done for.
That may have taken everything in Mason's gas tank as well. What a matchup.
If Mason could just roll over. Oliver has not moved since taking that suplex. He's been down for almost a 20 count at this point. If he could just get over for the cover. And finally, Oliver starts to stir. We're at 7. We might get a double count out.
Referee Nick Brown signaling everyone's up, and we're going to push forward here. Who will be victorious in this ultra-competitive matchup?
And he does not want... You can tell Mason wants to wrap this up.
Yeah, like a pit bull latching onto the leg, twisting and contorting the ankle. You can see the pain on the face of Jace Oliver.
He's dead center of the ring. This might be it for Oliver.
Oliver is on an island and has nowhere to go.
He is not grapevine the leg, though, yet. Does give Oliver a fair amount of mobility.
How much longer can Oliver... And there
he holds on! He holds on to it!
How much longer can Oliver, as his ligaments are twisted and stretched.
And he may want to consider tapping out to preserve his future. His agility, his legs are such a big part of his offense. He cannot afford an injury. He reverses it. He reversed the ankle lock.
Unbelievable. You're right, Chris. He hooks it in. Turnabout, fair play.
He is not an expert at this hold, but he still might get the submission.
Look out.
Oh my goodness!
Knockout shot.
Shaw Mason is stiff, and he might be about to be finished off.
From the ceiling, Chris, from the ceiling.
Shooting star press.
Forget about it. Hell of a matchup.
Unbelievable. Jimmy, you've been doing a phenomenal job tonight. Unfortunately, I have to go set up for the next match, and you might want to run.
After an ultra-competitive contest, no pressure, Chase Oliver racks up a victory here in Ryse Wrestling. We saw the addition of Tyler Voxx to White Trash Forever. And ladies and gentlemen, I promise I try to do my absolute best when announcing these events. But I will tell you right now that a 6-man Ronnie's Rules match will not be contained by that squared circle. And if they fight over here, you're not going to hear me because I'm getting out of here. Ron Mathis has proven he will hurt anyone within arm's reach, anyone within striking distance. PB Enterprises have returned to Ryse Wrestling. Jeffrey John and Paragon, members of the Players Club and cornerstones of PB Enterprises, will join Pretty Boy Smooth in this war against White Trash Forever. Jeffrey and Paragon are nationally traveled from coast to coast, zigzagging all across the independent circuit. We are seeing some special athletes in the building to oppose White Trash Forever. And the war is on. Months of animosity, including Ron Mathis ruining Pretty Boy Smooth's chance at the Grand Championship a few months ago, coming to a head here. Look out. And PB Enterprises asserting their dominance early on here. Letting Ron Mathis and his contingent know that the Ryse ring is PB Enterprises ring. And they may not be safe outside. Oh my God! And you heard that. I'm not a religious man, but I'm going to say a prayer for our IndyWrestling.us camera crew. I hope Chachi and Chad can avoid all of the wreckage that they're about to record for our IndyWrestling.us cameras. And what does Ron Mathis have in mind? And Tyler Voxx sneaking in like a vulture here. You're going to have eyes in the back of your head, or you're going to end up like Bruce Gray and get tattooed in the face by Pretty Boy Smooth. Voxx gets hung up. And look at the body of Tyler Voxx. All sorts of colors from being pummeled by PB Smooth. And Jeffrey John, look out! I believe that's a strike. And what's Paragon have in mind? And White Trash Forever are being absolutely steamrolled right now by PB Enterprises. And this is a measure of revenge for Pretty Boy Smooth. Ron Mathis deserves all of this and more. And hell if I know which camera shot we're going with. So I'll call what I see and we'll see how it matches up, because this is chaos. PB Smooth beating on Ron Mathis like a drum. Wait a minute, Bruce Gray's got a kendo stick, I believe. And just broke the damn kendo stick over Paragon. We've got broken garbage cans, broken kendo sticks, and before it's over, we may have some broken bodies in the Uniontown Mall. Mathis has some object he's pummeling PB with. I don't know, that's a pool cue. You want a simple explanation of what's going on? It's chaos. It's chaos everywhere. And that's the way that Ron Mathis likes it. We've seen Ron Mathis assault our security, assault our officials. Wait a minute, what is Bruce Graves setting up a chair? Ron Mathis has PB Smooth by the hair, peppering PB with shots. On the opposing side of the ring, I believe Tyler Voxx. And where is Ron Mathis going? Ron Mathis is going for a 40-yard dash. Look out. And Mathis, like a kamikaze, using his own body to take out Pretty Boy Smooth. Paragon with the street sign. Where the hell did they get a street sign? We're going to need the National Guard in here by the time this thing's over. Mathis with the garbage can. Bruce Gray with the kendo stick. And White Trash Forever may have the advantage. Voxx and Mathis are taking out Pretty Boy Smooth, but Jeffrey John. This is mayhem. That's all it is. Not exactly how White Trash Forever drew it up right there. And now the momentum could tilt back towards PB Enterprises. I'm assuming this is one fall to a finish. Assisted Ace Crusher from PB Enterprises. Jeffrey John with the Ace Crusher. Paragon gonna get into this thing here. What power! Oh man, low blow from Bruce Gray. And PB just hit the wooden floor very, very hard. And I believe they could be, I know what they call this thing. I've seen this before. This right here is the Powerplex. 5,001. And that could be all. The fight will continue. Absolute anarchy here. Oh, man. And we could be having some broken bones and some broken teeth by the time this thing's over. Mathis and Gray are calling for that pile driver. That's a Ron Mathis special. Jeffrey gets out of it. But the numbers game has shifted towards white trash forever. And that's what it's going to take, I believe, for a winner to be declared here. Either that or the damn building's going to fall apart. We may be calling Ron Mathis the demolition man by the time this thing's over. And that garbage can has already been destroyed. There's so many sharp edges on it. You can see how it's twisted, bent around the bodies. Cactus elbow off the apron, I believe, from Mathis, who is willing to hurt himself to inflict damage on an opponent. Wait a minute, Phil and Ron Mathis this isn't going to end well for Phil. It never ends well for Phil. I know there's no rules, but I don't think Phil should be getting involved in any of this. A right hand for Phil. Phil's got a steel chair. Yeah, he got one all right. Right upside the back from Tyler Voxx. And that's why this matchup is so dangerous. Nobody is safe. And Phil is being assaulted with the steel chair. This is insane. What is going on here? Wait a minute, Bruce Gray elevated by PB. Pretty Boy Smooth hits the post. Paragon being mugged at ringside. And I believe the advantage is tilting towards Ron Mathis. And it doesn't bode well for any of PB Enterprises. Like a couple of missiles, Mathis and Voxx take out Jeffrey and Paragon, and that leaves Pretty Boy Smooth by himself here. Pretty Boy Smooth may have to try to fight on his own here. The backup may have been taken out. But PB Smooth is going to make a statement. The numbers game just too much. At any given time, it could be 3-on-1, 2-on-1. What a collision from Paragon. Violence personified here in Ryse Wrestling. Oh, man. Paragon got clotheslined out of his shoes. PB intercepts. Mathis out the back door, but got sandwiched. Rolling foot to the face. The months and months of animosity pouring out all over Ron Mathis. Could we finally have a winner? No. Voxx with a crutch. I'm not sure what the hell Bruce Gray has. And Voxx was trying to target the knee of Pretty Boy Smooth. Oh, look out, powder in the eyes all over Pretty Boy Smooth. Whatever that powder is, it's filling this building. And who knows what's in that? That may be burning the eyes of Pretty Boy Smooth. We don't know. And Mathis directing traffic, and this is going to get violent, as if it isn't already. The hell was that powder all over the place? PB Smooth is hurt. Paragon hurt on the floor. I can't see where the hell Jeffries is. Oh, no, come on. Voxx and Mathis are putting a table at ringside. Paragon in the ring, takes out Mathis. Uranagi, and that's why that young man has been coast to coast. Look at the offense strung together from Paragon. Drops Voxx on his neck. Paragon sees that table now. And with PB Smooth incapacitated, being blinded by that powder, it may be up to Paragon. Oh man, he got his jaw racked from Mathis. And look out, this is getting very, very dangerous. Oh, no way. No. Oh, my God. Pile driver through the table. Paragon has been taken out. And we may need help out here. I know this is no rules, but we've... Oh, wait a minute now. Mathis and Tyler Voxx have duct tape, and it's clear what they're trying to do. They're trying to tape Pretty Boy Smooth to the ropes. Pretty Boy Smooth is going to be defenseless. This is going too far. Where the hell's LaRusso? Somebody needs to step in here. Pretty Boy Smooth is... He's not going to be able to protect himself. Oh my, Jesus. Look at the back of Ron Mathis. The back of Ron Mathis, the wounds of war. He has been lacerated on his back, a nasty cut. And now Pretty Boy Smooth has absolutely no way to protect himself. Jeffrey John, thankfully coming to the aid of Pretty Boy Smooth. But there are already casualties in this fight. And look out here. Diving Ace Crusher. And Jeffrey John, I believe, is just developing tunnel vision here. Pretty Boy Smooth is still taped to those ropes. PB Smooth can't move. And Jeffrey John got absolutely waffled in the face. Look out. Spike pile driver again. And right in front of Pretty Boy Smooth. And that disgusting human being, Ron Mathis, gets to throw more egg in the face of Pretty Boy Smooth. After what was one of the damnedest fights I've ever seen, we've got casualties in this war. Paragon is hurt. Jeffrey John is hurt. And PB Smooth has been humiliated. White Trash Forever is victorious. But where does this leave Pretty Boy Smooth? Where can Pretty Boy Smooth go from here? Second half of Ryse Pro Wrestling, June 10th, 2023. My name's Jim Amato, and I don't know what the hell I did to deserve this, but somehow the gavel David Wallace has slithered his way out here.
So I'm just out here to offer my thoughts and opinions on what's going on inside the ring, Mr. Amato.
Lead to great success. And then afterwards, somebody decided to get a little aggressive and now can't handle it. So Alex, you cheap knockoff, get out here so I can enact a little revenge.
The challenge has been laid down.
Great success isn't one to back down from a challenge either. Oh.
I'm not sure what I did to deserve this, but yes, the gavel David Wallace has joined me here.
You're welcome.
Nothing more I like than an anchor around my neck to do my job. Thank you very much for that. Speaking of anchors around the neck, I believe Gianni, Michael, Emricko has applied a pair of cement shoes to one person or another. Allegedly.
The Italian strongman, Gianni Michael Emricko, one of the best looking and strongest professional wrestlers in our area, is going to give Tyler Klein his comeuppance tonight, Jim.
Emricko has been making a lot of waves in 880 wrestling out of New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Has really been regarded as a pro wrestling prodigy. Much of the same can be said for gorgeous Gregory. It shows you the level of talent that these guys are building. And Gabble, somehow you've been willing to ride their coattails. You want to join up with the success of the great success, right? So give me the inside scoop. What's going on here? Tyler calls out Great Alexander, and we've got Emricko. And I know that you know what's going on here. There's some collusion going on around here.
I assure you there's no collusion. My relationship with the Great Success is based upon them asking me to provide them with legal counsel, which I've done exceptionally well, Mr. LaMotta. And the Great Alexander is smart in not answering this open challenge because he knows that Gianni Michael Emricko is going to handle one half of the runway, Tyler Klein.
As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Great Success, and you were a part of this, by the way, so I hope that you're proud of yourself. Last month, the Great Success took out Calvin Couture, and Tyler Klein is looking for a measure of revenge.
There's nothing worse than a man seeking revenge for his tag team partner, and we're seeing Tyler Klein go after it right now.
And just the assist on the victory earlier is not enough for Tyler Klein. Tyler Klein is here to put some knots on the head of the Great Success.
Really laying in those hip attacks, too, and it doesn't matter if it's Gianni, Gorgeous Gregory, or the Great Alexander. Tyler Klein is out here to make a statement tonight.
The one thing that Tyler Klein cannot do is allow his emotions to take over here. Because as we've said, Emricko is very talented, and the Great Success is very dangerous. The fact that Calvin Couture was injured, was taken out, and we don't know his condition is proof of how dangerous the Great Success are.
Well, and that's part of the reason why they reached out to me is because I see a bunch of young, talented wrestlers, much like myself when I started, and if I can shepherd them along the way and make them even stronger, I'm happy to do so, Jim.
You really like twisting the facts, don't you?
What did I say that was a lie? To quote Bobby Fish, where's the lie?
You would like an idiot like that, I'll tell you that. And this is what I'm talking about. Like a bunch of jackals, like a bunch of vultures. It's now effectively 4-on-1.
I didn't see the ref seeing anything that was untoward there, Jim.
And if this was a one-on-one contest, we know the caliber of athlete that Tyler Klein is. Tyler Klein is a former Ryse Tag Team Champion.
And that's the operative word, tag team wrestling. Singles wrestling is completely different.
Was taken out by these jerks in the ring.
What do you mean taken out by him?
A steel chair to the back of the head. That's exactly what happened last month.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, selective memory, selective amnesia. I wish you would have forgot your way to this commentary table, pal.
Well, amazingly, I'm here, and you should be thankful for that, Jim.
And Tyler Klein's going to be in survival mode. Because as talented as he is quite literally encircled by the Great Success.
There's going to come a point in the match where he's going to reach for his partner and no one's going to be there, and that is going to give Gianni Michael Emricko the advantage. A seasoned yet young singles wrestler.
For those that don't know, you can follow 880 Wrestling, where more of Emricko has showcased himself, I believe, free on the Indie Wrestling Network, so make sure to check that out. Free wrestling is about the only way I can tolerate you, I'll tell you that, pal. I feel like I'm going to need a shot of penicillin being this close to you.
Well, you got to pick a lane here. Either I'm disgusting or either I'm a crook, but I can't be both, right?
Emricko just blindsided Tyler Klein, and I believe that Mr. Design never had a chance to really assert himself because of this numbers game that's being played by the Great Success.
I haven't seen anyone on the outside get involved in this match at all this entire time, Jim. I've just seen Gianni Michael Emricko dominate.
Emricko trying to hoist up Tyler Klein. Mr. Design counters his way out. Diving hip attack racks the skull of Emricko.
credit where credit's due, too. Tyler's been using a big asset of his throughout this match to deliver some punishment. Oh.
Elevates Emricko, powers him down to the cage. And this is what who gave that jackass a bullhorn?
The same fan who brought one in here illegally, I should mention.
Yeah, salt in the wound, mocking Tyler Klein. Calvin Couture is his best friend, and as soon as Tyler Klein turned around, he got tattooed, got blindsided.
Well, that's a fair question.
And this is a travesty.
You see all the members of the Great Success out here supporting their teammates, and where is Calvin Couture?
He's not medically cleared, which I'm sure you don't know anything about that since you were in the damn ring when he got blindsided with that steel chair last month. Power ball from Emricko.
That's got to be it.
And this is a damn shame. This whole thing is a damn shit.
It's a shame that people aren't recognizing the future superstar that they have in front of them in Gianni Michael Emricko. You know, I come out here, I'm disrespected by you, by everyone in the audience, and Gianni Michael Emricko and the Great Success has to be disrespected too.
Now, wait a minute. They're going to try to take out Tyler as well here. This is ridiculous. The matchup is over. Can you call these vultures off?
You think I have any control over the Great Success? I'm just brought in to provide them legal counsel.
And thankfully, Team Stronghold has hit the ring. But the bigger story is the well-being of Calvin Couture.
Well, Calvin Couture isn't here. The well-being of Tyler Klein, we can see right now, getting helped up.
And you like this stuff. You're grinning like a Cheshire cat. This is mission accomplished.
I enjoy seeing...
Another member of the runway is injured here. And you... Well, what happens when you're injured, pal? Because I'm going to tell you what. When you're injured, I'm going to be smiling.
Well, you would, Mr. LaMotta, and I can't believe you would accuse someone of my integrity of taking joy in seeing someone get hurt. I'm taking joy in the fact that a talented wrestler beat his opponent. What about that?
And I hope that Tyler Klein is okay.
We're going right into six-person tag action.
Well, while you're out here, I'm not going to... I mean, as a human being, you're disgusting. But as an athlete, you're very accomplished. So I'm going to ask you, you've been in these six-man tag team matches before. What's the strategy if you... I mean, obviously, you're the man inside. You're the mole of the Great Success. What's their strategy here? What's the point? What are they trying to accomplish with all this chicanery the past few months?
Well, whether it's 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, the Great Success is out here to show Ryse Wrestling and the fans that they deserve respect. They deserve to be at the top of the card. They deserve the title shots that everyone seems to be getting but them.
So it's an ego trip, and they're trying to use this platform to make a name for themselves.
You know, I don't know.
That's what's going on, right?
Why does everyone have to assume that because people who are talented want to get the things that they're rightfully deserved, it has anything to do with ego? Last time I checked, this is still America, right? Where the top dogs run the show. Isn't that where we live, Jim?
Well, right now, Lewis is going to live in the moment, and I believe he's going to try to rearrange the mustache of the great Alexander.
And this is what I'm talking about, right? Where was the count when he had his hands on great Alexander's mustache, right?
Deep arm drag from Lewis. Were you saying something?
It's unfair treatment, right? Look.
2 feet firmly in the chest, the great Alexander, all out of sorts. Why are you looking a little flustered? You look a little hot under the collar there.
I get upset when I see greatness being disrespected.
Yeah, greatness. So the great Alexander is the one that's getting bounced around like a ping pong ball right now.
I never thought I'd see the day where 3 talented wrestlers like the Great Success could be disrespected like this, and I never saw the day where a president of the United States would get indicted, but this country's going to hell.
God bless America. And there's Jace Mara, step up Hurricane Rana. Mara is a daredevil, an adrenaline junkie, and we've seen that in the past few months since he's made his debut here in Ryse Wrestling. Beautiful missile drop kick, springboard style.
And as much as I love the great success, you can't take anything away from the athleticism of Jace Mera. That's a very difficult move to do, Jim, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah, I got a lot of experience with springboards, pal, let me tell you. Here's a young man that has experience. Gerard Garrett, a really blue-chip athlete. He has no flaws in his game. Very, very well-rounded. But right now, Jace Mera is quite literally wrestling circles around Gerard Garrett. Lateral press, 2.5.
You know, and the great success, too, what I see in them more than looks and talent is intelligence.
Well, that's subjective.
And I'm going to guess you don't think I'm very intelligent, Jim.
Oh, you're a snake. I know you're a high IQ guy. You just have zero integrity. And speaking of integrity, Gorgeous Gregory is short on integrity but huge on talent. The current Imagine Wrestling champion out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, just 18 years old.
Blue chip doesn't even begin to describe the talent that this kid has. The sky is the limit for Gorgeous Gregory.
I'll say it right now, and this may sound ambitious. I honestly believe we'll be watching Gorgeous Gregory on national television one day. But right now, he's in the ring with Jason Hendrix, who's looking for a measure of revenge. Let's not forget, this rivalry was started because the great success took out Brandon K, who was scheduled to compete against you some months ago.
Did that happen? Did I have something to do with that?
Backcracker. Yeah, I believe you took that oak gavel that you're holding right now and planted it upside the head of the founder of Ryse.
Listen, I did what everyone wanted me to do with Brandon K, who I have an immense amount of respect for. But I have more respect for the great success and all the young talent that we see in the ring. And these fans at Ryse, they boo the great success. You know why? Because they could never understand what it's like to be talented and successful and good-looking.
And these sleaze bags are exploiting the position of the referee. Nick Brown just trying to do his job.
You asked what the purpose of a 6-person tag match is. You asked what the strategy is. Isolate. And they took the weakest person on that team in Jason Hendrix, Mr. Glass, and they're isolating him in the ring.
Yeah, let's not forget, it was the great success that injured the shoulder of Jason Hendrix last month. He was finally medically cleared.
And I want to talk a little bit about Jason Hendrix and this rigged poll that Ryse had about who has the greatest mustache in the Ryse locker room. But for Jason Hendrix and these midnight ballot dumps that they did for his mustache, the great Alexander and myself would have split that title.
I'm not going to justify that with an answer. Man, that's what I'm talking about. Look at the ring positioning of Gerard Garrett, the way he lowered the boom on Hendrix right there. I can't stand their attitude, but the talent is undeniable from the great success.
The great success is the perfect marriage of intelligence, size, athleticism, and cunning.
You're right. I'm not arguing with that. I will give them the props all day of their talent. It's just their attitude and their intentions that I can't stand.
I don't understand why people that understand their greatness aren't allowed to be proud of it. What happened in our world where someone that's good looking and talented can't stand out here and say, yes, I'm good looking and I'm talented. I'm going to prove that to you. You know what? I'm going to say that right here. I'm good looking and I'm talented, Jim. Do you have a problem with that?
I agree that you're talented, and that's about it.
Well, that's the first that's ever come out of your mouth.
Up and over goes Hendrix. Got hung up, and that's the ring generalship of the great Alexander. He's just a 4-year pro, as you mentioned earlier, but he has wisdom beyond his years. Brought Hendrix in the hard way. Awkward landing.
This is what's so smart about that move, too. While most professional wrestlers would see an opportunity to suplex their opponent into the ring, the great Alexander decides to use the ropes as leverage to add just a little more emphasis to that move.
Using the ring as a tag team partner. That's next level stuff.
And that's why Team Stronghold's going to have a tough time overcoming the great success here, because they don't want to admit it, but they're not really a team. They don't really see eye to eye because they only care about themselves. And
this is how cohesive the great success are. They're not just on the same page. They're reading the same sentence on the same word, excuse me.
They travel together. They eat together. They go out together. I mean, this is what builds a bond amongst, I'll say it, brothers. Brothers. Maybe not blood brothers, but definitely in talent and in grouping alone.
Hendrix escapes there, but you can tell that the amount of damage he's sustained is really wearing on him. We know how tough Hendrix is, fighting through that shoulder injury he sustained in that massive 10-man tag match just 2 months ago.
And I think what it comes down to, Jim, is not taking anything away from Jace or Lewis or Jason Hendrix. They're all talented, but the cohesion is what they lack, and that's going to be their downfall here.
Big mid-ring collision. Pivotal point in this contest. Could be the first man to make a tag.
But
their team could have a definitive advantage here. Sorry, go ahead.
You notice where Jason Hendrix is positioned, right? Squarely on the side of the great success. He's going to have to crawl over Gerard, Garrett to get to his teammates here.
Alexander was so anxious or did he? Very, very interesting timing there.
The man slipped, okay? And the ref did exactly what he's supposed to do and got that illegal person out of the ring.
Nick Brown could not see the tag.
There was no tag there.
And these charlatans, again, exploiting the position of the official. And make no mistake about it, Nick Brown, one of the best officials anywhere in Pittsburgh, is just trying to do his job.
And he did the correct thing. He got Jace Mara out of the ring when he wasn't the legal man.
And right now, Jason Hendrix in the wrong part of town.
All that work that he did to get over to his side of the ring has just been nullified by the great success. Again, cohesion, athleticism, talent. This is the fruits of those labors, Jim.
And what you have to think here is we're seeing Hendrix continuing to get mugged. The winner of this matchup, no matter which team it is, will certainly have a lot of momentum, a lot of bragging rights heading into the Ryse Rumble next month, July 8th.
What a match that's going to be, too. An opportunity at the Ryse Grand Championship. If you win the Ryse Rumble, I know that after the matches today, people have been drawing numbers and calling their shots here at the Ryse Rumble. But, I mean, really, it's anyone's game when you think about the talent that Ryse Wrestling has. It could even be me, Jim.
God help us. Hendrix avoids the contact, finally makes the tag to Jace Mara. And Mara is rolling right here. Very wisely goes for that cover.
Taking a page out of Bret Hart's book with the Russian leg sweep there.
And we're seeing some teamwork from Team Stronghold. 2.5. And let's not forget, Team Stronghold rallied together because the great success targeted their trainer, Brandon K.
You mean my trainer, too? The one who abandoned me because he didn't think that I was as good as some other trainees that he had?
Look out here. Alexander's got Lewis up. Greatness driver. Bottom drops out for Jason Hendrix. And that's why you don't turn your back in the squared circle. Everything breaking down here. It's been the case all night. Why the hell not?
And it's getting harder and harder to keep control of this match with 6 people in the ring like this. Nick Brown doing the best job that he can, but sometimes you just can't get out of the way of all these competitors.
Alexander on Dream Street right now.
And when nerds fly, you never know what's going to happen, Jim. I don't like seeing Lewis anywhere but on the ground.
Well, Lewis had a very gingerly landing to say the... Now, wait a minute. Alexander clawing at the face of Jace Mara.
No, I think he was trying to wipe sweat from his eyes.
Mara can't see. Mara just plants Lewis, but Mara is blind. He may have thought that was Alexander.
What a beautiful spine buster that was, too. On the wrong person, of course, but what a beautiful spine buster.
And you're just having a great time out here, right?
I am having a great time on commentary. I'm with one of my best friends, Jim LaMotta, talking about wrestling. Does it get any better?
Implant driver from Gregory, and that'll do it. By hook or by crook, the Great Success have shown up Team Stronghold again.
I wish I could say I'm surprised by this result, Jim, but at the end of the day, cohesiveness is always going to beat slapdash tag team partners put together like Team Stronghold.
It gives me heartburn right in the middle of my sternum, but the bottom line is this. Ahead of the Ryse Rumble July 8th, you have to think the Great Success are the odds-on favorite to win the Ryse Rumble and to pursue the Ryse Grand Championship.
I want you to take a look at all 4 men that are on the screen right now. Each one of those individuals could easily be Ryse Grand Champion or Grand Champion of any promotion in the world, because that's how talented the Great Success is. And when they reached out to me for guidance and for legal help, I said, absolutely. What can I do to make you that much better than you already are?
What will happen ahead of the Ryse Rumble July 8th?
I can tell you what's going to happen now. You're going to see teams like Team Stronghold being in disillusion like this.
Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Jace Merritt trying to explain to Lewis that it was, in fact, an accident. Lewis is upset, and I can't blame him.
And you didn't see any of this from the Great Success, which is another reason why they will continue to move forward in victory after victory over Team Stronghold.
Could Team Stronghold be coming apart at the seams here? Unfortunately, I am still joined by the Gavel David Wallace. And Gavel, these are a few characters that you are familiar with.
Argus and Steel Dragon, 2 masked men that are going to show the Rad Boyz what it's like when you can't see people's faces. And, you know, Jim, part of what makes wrestling masked wrestlers so difficult is the fact that, you know, people are scared of clowns because you never know what they're going to do. And when a wrestler covers their face up with a mask, you have no idea what to expect.
All action when the Rad Boyz are in the house.
Something a little different tonight about the Rad Boyz, too. Not as much fanfare for them coming out. Looks like they mean business and are taking this very seriously.
Elliott and Wily came within an eyelash of winning those Ryse Tag Team Championships last month. And that's what led to this open challenge matchup here. Argus, who fancies himself a reptile, and Steel Dragon, who fancies himself a dragon, are taking a jump on this one.
Both part of the reptile family, I should mention, Jim. Fantasy reptile and real reptile.
And the Rad Boyz, after coming up short against Money Shot, albeit under nefarious means last month, you know that Elliott and Wily are looking for a definitive victory. And what an innovative maneuver that was. I've never seen that before.
That's what you're going to get from the Rad Boyz. High energy offense and just go, go, go nonstop.
Argus and the Dragon may have talent, but this may not be their night. This is the Rad Boyz putting the entire Ryse Tag Team division on notice. They ain't going away.
But they're not getting a shot at the title anytime soon because they're going to have to climb their way back. They had their shot. Money Shot took care of business, and now they're back at square one. Coming right in our television here.
One more time. Incoming! And look at the hops of Elliott.
Anywhere the Rad Boyz go, they bring the energy, and it's absolutely incredible to see a Rad Boyz match live.
Caffeine personified are the Rad Boyz.
Bang for breakfast, bang for lunch, and felonies for dinner for the Rad Boyz.
We've got some blockbuster maneuvers here, like this one right now. Beautiful double stomp.
They call that the double dare. And it's a good thing that Argus and Steel Dragon are under masks, because no one would want to see the tears that they're probably shedding right now from that high-impact offense. But I don't think Argus and Steel Dragon are going to sit back and let the Rad Boyz enjoy this victory.
Hey, Gavel.
Let's get that casket match rolling.
Wily's got the mic.
You have something of ours and we want it back. We're not here to swear word and complain. But you have our bird belts, our tag team championships, and we want them back. We beat you once, everyone here saw it last month, and we can beat you again. So why don't you guys come in?
And the Rad Boyz aren't waiting. The Rad Boyz, I believe they collided with Money Shot in the aisle.
They don't want to wait for their tag team title shot. They want to fight now. And if they want to fight, Money Shot is always game for a fight.
We've seen blood spilled so far this evening, and we may see a little more spilled before we go off the air.
Ronnie's rules got nothing on what's about to happen out here. Can we get some officials here? I mean, as a man of the law, I don't want to see anything nefarious happen.
Well, why don't you go up there and help them out?
Well, I'm an attorney, not a law enforcement officer.
Why don't you just leave the desk, get up and walk out there in front of all this chaos? Maybe you'll catch an errant right hand.
Listen, if someone needs sued after this, I'm happy to help them, but I don't really like to.
Oh, wait a minute. Now the great success have just jumped the Rad Boyz.
Numbers game are always going to catch up to you, and the Rad Boyz are flying a little too close.
Team Stronghold, the fight is on!
Didn't these guys just get dismissed a match before?
You want a preview of the Ryse Rumble July 8th? Here you go. It's all out warfare.
And anyone watching at home, you want to be here to feel what the action is like here at the Stronghold Arena with all these men just competing for the Ryse Grand Championship, a shot at the Ryse Grand Championship. And Bruce Gray gets thrown over the top rope. Remember, that's how you're eliminated from the Ryse Rumble, which will be next month, July 8th, here at the Stronghold.
If nothing else, you're an effective shill, because you're right, July 8th, you're going to have everybody in Ryse in that ring right there, battling it out for a chance at the Grand Championship.
And it could be the Gavel David Lawless or a hand-picked successor that I choose.
I'm not a religious man, but I will have a rosary bead in hand to pray that you do not win the Ryse Rumble.
Right now we're seeing the ring clear, and could these be the six men that we see at the end of the Ryse Rumble? Money Shot, the Rad Boyz, Great Alexander, and Cowpoke Paul.
The future of Ryse could be shaped. And before we go off the air tonight, we're going to find out who will be the Ryse Grand Champion heading into the Ryse Rumble next month. Look out!
Shatter Machine there by Money Shot. There is not a move that team isn't capable. Oh! And just like they called for it, the Rad Boyz clearing the ring. Got to give them credit here. They asked for a fight and they delivered. Money Shot, though, they're not stupid. They are not going to step into the ring with the Rad Boyz until the Rad Boyz earn their shot at the Ryse Tag Team Championships.
We've got the Rip City Shooters July 8th. We've got the Ryse Rumble July 8th. The summer just keeps getting bigger and bigger here in Ryse Wrestling. Cumulatively, he is the longest reigning Ryse Grand Champion. He is the only man to hold the Ryse Grand Championship on 2 occasions.
And this is his match, Jim. This is a match that favors the Reaper Matt Conard.
But as proud as the Reaper Matt Conard is for the Grand Championship, professional accomplishments may be secondary because this matchup is very, very personal.
And that's where I think it could hurt the Reaper Matt Conard, because
in the same way that Matt Conard is the only man to hold the Grand Championship on 2 occasions, Edric Everhart is the only man to hold both the Ryse Tag Team and Grand Championship in his career. Quite frankly, and Gav, I know you and I don't agree on much, but we can agree on this. We are seeing 2 of the cornerstones of Ryse Wrestling on display here in our main event.
from its infancy, this company has grown, and these 2 men have been the foundations and the pillars of them in tag team wrestling and at the Grand Championship level. And what I was going to say earlier is that because this is so personal for the Reaper, that's where Edric Everhart will take advantage. You look into the eyes of the champion, the body of work that he's put together leading to this match, and there is no fear. Even though this is the Reaper's match, a casket match, Edric Everhart knows exactly what he needs to do to put the Reaper in the casket and take advantage of this personal vendetta that the Reaper has against Edric.
Ryse Wrestling, June 10th of 2023. My name is Jim Milano, being joined by the gavel, David Wallace, for IndyWrestling.us. It is Edric Everhart defending against Matt Conard the Grand Championship in a casket match. Many have said that Matt Conard is the man that personifies the Grand Championship more than anyone else. If Conard can win this matchup and win the Grand Championship for a 3rd time, he will cement himself as the Grand Champion in the history of Ryse.
Well,
Conversely, this is an opportunity for Edric Everhart to pry that torch away from Matt Conard. And just listen to the physical nature of these shots.
Makes me glad that I'm on this side of the table tonight, Jim.
We're going to find out before we go off the air who is the man that represents the Grand Championship more than anyone else.
Well, and just as this would be a feather in the cap for the Reaper to win the Grand Championship for the 3rd time, what will this mean about Edric Everhart's reign if he defeats the Reaper Matt Conard in a casket match? I would say you have a contender for the greatest Ryse Grand Champion ever.
Absolutely, and that's what's on the line, because to truly assume that title, figuratively speaking, of the greatest Grand Championship of all time, you have to defeat Matt Conard, and Edric Everhart has the chance to do that, as you said, in Conard's matchup, the casket match.
And you know what makes Edric's reign so amazing here at Ryse now is that he's had to do it in a lot of different matches, right? No disqualification matches against opponents of different sizes, different shapes, different talent levels. I mean, look at last month. He comes out and he has to defend the championship against someone who wins a rumble at the beginning of the match, unprepared, comes out, keeps his championship.
And this could be Edric trying to play some mind games with the Reaper. There you see it. Edric suckered him in. Conard, this is that emotional side of things because this is such a very personal rivalry. These 2 were very, very good friends for several years. In fact, their success up until a certain point was really intertwined here in Ryse Wrestling. We saw Edric Everhart and Matt Conard as thick as thieves about 4 years ago. But times have changed. Edric Everhart has changed, and certainly the complexion of Matt Conard's Ryse career has changed.
Well, and that's how you can tell Edric is wrestling a level above where Matt Conard is because of the personal vendetta. You know, you can't win a casket match inside the ring. And Edric Everhart knows that if he baits the Reaper into the ring or baits the Reaper onto the apron, he's going to take advantage. And that's exactly what he did, and he's in full control right now.
And I can tell you, I was getting the willies. I was getting a little spooked. I was getting a little scared when I walked past that casket this afternoon when I arrived at the building. And let me tell you, this is no exaggeration, Gavel, you know this as well because you saw it. That is a solid wooden casket.
And this is smart. Edric's not wasting any time. Get the casket open, get the Reaper in there. The longer this match goes on, the more this favors the Reaper Matt Conard because this is his type of match.
And at this point, Edric had instructed the officials to open the casket. And to your point, if Edric can get out of here as fast as possible, that's one thing that we've seen about the reign of Edric Everhart as grand champion. He does not care how it's done. It's about being effective.
And it's about being
ethical,
champion.
It's effective.
It's about being champion. You don't get paid by the hour in professional wrestling. You get paid to hold the championship. Whether you retain that title in 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or 5 hours, that is the same amount of money that goes into your pocket. So it doesn't matter if this match ends within 5 minutes. Edric Everhart's going to do what he needs to do to put Reaper Matt Conard in the ground.
Well, we've said it. You know, we've said it in the opening moments here. One of these men is going to assume that spot in the minds of not only Ryse fans, but in the Pittsburgh wrestling scene as the greatest grand champion of all time. The only way anyone's going to do that is if they pin Matt Conard, if they defeat Matt Conard, or in this case, put Matt Conard in that casket. That is what Edric Everhart wants to do because Edric Everhart has really been on a career trajectory that has put him in an entirely new league.
Having a victory over Matt Conard for any professional wrestler is a feather in their cap.
And it's a rare occurrence.
But beating Matt Conard in a casket match is the cherry on top of the sundae.
Yeah, it's undisputable at that point.
That says that I'm the greatest Ryse Grand Champion ever.
And not just the championship, but the recognition of the greatest Ryse Grand Champion of all time is really what we have on the line here. Because no one has captured all the gold in Ryse the way that Edric Everhart has, and of course nobody has held the title more times than Matt Conard.
And I think if you're any of the competitors that's challenging Edric Everhart, take myself for example too, I got a question. If he beats Reaper Matt Conard in a casket match, what do I need to do? What type of match do I need to put this man in where I actually might have a chance of winning that? Everyone in the locker room would be hard-pressed to answer that question.
And now Conard clutching to that middle rope, trying not to let himself slip into that casket.
Well, and that's where this sixth sense that Matt Conard has around the casket, that undead, unsettling feeling that he has, he knows when he's close to that casket being closed, and he's not going to let that happen this early in the matchup.
It's a very macabre atmosphere out here.
But that's what the Reaper uses to his advantage, and I think you saw Edric take that advantage away by making it so personal leading up to this match.
Oh, certainly the mind games were there. And we saw these two had to be pried apart last month. I mean, they were scratching and clawing. You had to get these two apart with a crowbar. That's how, I mean, this was animosity overflowing, and it's led us to this matchup where there are no rules. The only way this thing's going to end is when someone ends up in that casket. And just think about that sentence. When someone ends up in the casket. Conard out the back door, bottom drops out, and it could be the champion that is put in that casket relatively shortly.
And I've been on the receiving end of that move, and let me tell you, you could count to 10 if you want after you take that move, but this is not a match where you're going to be able to cover your opponent, and you can see Matt Conard struggling to get Edric Everhart over to that casket.
Yeah, that's dead weight, no pun intended there. And we can see Edric now frantically fighting his way back. Conard raining down shots. In this situation, Conard has the leverage, being able to swing down to where the champion has to swing up. And you can hear the thud of that lid on the back of Edric Everhart.
And keep in mind, you have to fight your opponent and you have to fight that heavy wood of that casket too. So this is a testament to the strength of Edric Everhart too, that he can keep his composure as he's fighting off a Reaper and the casket door.
Look out, leg sweep from Edric.
Such a smart
desperation maneuver right there.
Such a smart tactic, too, because you'll notice that he also hung up the Reaper's neck on the top rope. And, Jim, as strong as you are, as tough as you are, if you can't breathe, you can't fight off your opponent or the casket door closing.
Absolutely. That oxygen is what fuels the muscles. And we're seeing the physical toll being taken on both athletes here. You can see the welts on the back of Matt Conard. And conversely, the red welts on the chest of the champion.
And keep in mind, too, Edric Everhart...
Wait, he could be going for that cutter. Edric could be trying to spell the end here. Telegraphed it, the Reaper. Oh, look out. Champion tries again. Conard one step ahead. Edric out the back door. Blue Thunder bomb.
Huge.
What impact.
Wow. And again, got to get your opponent over there. That move's going to take a lot of energy out of Edric.
Conard going towards the casket.
And this could be it, Jim.
The challenger fighting with everything he's got to keep that lid open.
Look at the difference between what Reaper did when he had Edric in the casket and what Edric's doing, using the ropes as leverage.
And again, I'm sure you can sense this as well, Gavel. Just the atmosphere is so creepy out here.
Well, the fans can feel it too. I mean, the majority of them, they don't even know how to react to this because, they're essentially rooting for someone to be buried alive. How sadistic is that?
And just listen to the physicality. Oh, man, Conard went head first into the post.
If you can't open your eyes and you can't breathe, you can't win a casket match. I don't care if you're the Undertaker or the Reaper Matt Conard. You're not going to win if you're knocked out.
And what's Edric looking for? The violence is going to escalate. And we've expected this because that's been the trend all night.
And Edric Everhart is a master of figuring out the best spot for him to have the advantage. That's how he won the Ryse Grand Championship in the first place.
Oh, he's absolutely an opportunist. Look out. Conard avoids the contact and saves his life there.
Now you got to worry about Edric Everhart's hands, too, because smacking that chair off the top of that casket, it's going to hurt your fingers.
And I believe that Conard's going for that dragon sleeper. He's going to try to choke the champion unconscious.
Using the pivot point of the ring, the hardest part of the ring where the apron is, too, to get that extra leverage and put his opponent out. Very smart by the Reaper here.
Conard is squeezing the carotid arteries on both sides of the neck of the champion, and Everhart holding the ropes does absolutely nothing in a casket match.
I didn't think someone that was undead could have brains like that, but I stand corrected.
And the champion may be out of it. Edric may be unconscious, and he's now in the casket. Oh, man. And that's the problem when you try to close that casket. You leave yourself open for those shots to the face. And that's what happened to Conard right there.
One of the things that Conard's going to...
Oh, man. Edric Everhart just thumbed Conard right in the eye.
And that's the thing. If you can't see, you can't put your opponent in the casket, Jim. Another well-timed opportunity taken by our champion, Edric Everhart.
Conard clutching that left eye. And I believe that Edric Everhart has something in mind here, and it doesn't bode well for the Reaper.
Jim, as a member of the Ryse locker room, if I'm backstage watching this match, I'm grinning ear to ear because regardless of who wins, the winner of the Ryse Rumble is going to be facing someone that will not be 100%. You are never the same after a casket match.
Gavel, I'm not breaking any news here, but you can confirm this. Matches like this take years off of your career.
Some wrestlers never come back from casket matches.
These two are sacrificing years of their career for the Ryse Grand Championship. That is how personal this rivalry has become.
Matt Conard's doing this to inflict pain.
Oh, man. Edric Everhart, always the ring general, measured the Reaper and lowered the boom with a super kick.
And Edric Everhart's doing this to prove a point, Jim. And I think that point's going to be made tonight.
Oh, look out. And you have to remember, if you land in that casket, you're landing in those wooden planks.
Yeah, everyone thinks there's padding inside of these caskets because it's what they see at their local funeral home, but that's not the case here.
Now, no one's going to be resting peacefully in that casket, I'll tell you that.
No, and they're grinding their backs up against the ring post, which I can tell you from personal experience, Jim, is the worst feeling in the world.
And again, you can see, to your point, you can see the welts on the body of Matt Conard.
They may as well be bullseyes.
Very precarious position here as these two battling it out above that casket. And they are both teetering on the edge of the apron above a casket. Really think about that. You're a professional wrestler, and you are inches away from landing in a casket.
And it's great. You hear, oh, they know how to fall, or oh, they're trained. Let me tell you what. I've gone through many training schools. They don't teach you how to prepare for a casket match. Hello, sir. Here's how you go inside of a casket. Said no one ever.
And look at this hatred just pouring out between these two.
Just stiff shots.
Oh, man.
Both inside that casket, too.
Is the lid closed? I can't tell.
Looks like it's just getting there, but this match can't end in a double casket.
Yeah, I don't know what the ruling is here, but clearly none of our officials are calling for the bell, so this is going to continue as the Reaper rising from the casket.
And the fans at Ryse Wrestling are going nuts for this undead psychopath.
Sound like you're getting a little scared of the Reaper, huh?
I'm scared of any man who voluntarily decides that they want to settle a score with a former friend by placing them in a casket. I handle my disputes in the ring in traditional matches or in the courtroom like a civilized human being, not in a graveyard with a casket.
Oh, man. Edric has been... He's got the lid! Edric is in the casket! Conard has done it!
New Ryse Grand Champion?
It took just one last stiff kick to the face to bury the now former Grand Champion, Edric Everhart. Matt Conard has put himself in rarefied air, the only man to win the Ryse Grand Championship on 3 occasions. And I believe we can say it. Matt Conard has cemented himself as a Ryse legend. Gavel, we're out of time. I'm going to wrap it up here with Gavel David Wallace. I'm Jim Amata.
I'm shocked.
Make sure you're here July 8th for the Ryse Rumble.
Good luck to anyone challenging for that title.
And we see Matt Conard as a 3-time Ryse Grand Champion.
Wow.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.